Aston. Supportavi io che stando a comprare una seconda. Ama 6 minut Ja също мисля, защото трябва да спомня, да се аз когато ние се говорихме от навечер, ние държали с тим поема.
Okay, good morning and welcome. Welcome to our guests and lectures. To wake you up a little bit, how many of you are agriculture-related people? Good, okay. And software development? Almost 50-50. Okay, very good. I want to say three important things. First of all, this project initiative, or whatever we call it, is very important from the perspective that it's becoming not nationwide, but it's a regional for Southeast Europe, which you will see from the talks of the guests. Which will show that we can collaborate cross-nation, cross-borders, that we are ready for European Union, and that we can succeed together. The second thing is that because it is focused on innovation and startups, and that's why our guests are here from the accelerator funds, it's important for the development of the software ecosystem, and it will be a showcase how we can work together with already existing environment, community, which we are building in the last 10 years and which already is advancing pretty well. Also longer term, this is one shot, let's say project. Longer term, whatever is the outcome and the startups which will pop up from the initiative, they will need earth or environment in which they will have to grow. And just with one shot, it will be almost impossible, the success, if there is no, let's say, environment in which the seeds which we will now put into the ground will grow. And that's why we very much depend and we count on the accelerator funds to continue that initiative with us together and to help us. Also, they have some, let's say, already existing startups and companies which are in the agriculture specifically. We were discussing with Dani some of them, which I have seen also in the past. And the most important thing for me is that this should become a showcase how the software industry can help and develop another industry, agriculture, to go a level up and to become a high added value industry. The software industry is already high added value industry, but we can show together that this could become the next level for the agriculture. And that's why we are obliged to succeed, because after that we can step on, let's say, on that foundation and to say, yes, we can help the whole industry to develop further and to go one level up. I will give the microphone to Dani and then Stanislav to say a few words, and yeah, that's from my side.
Good morning from me. My name is Daniel Tomov. I'm one of the partners at 11, which is an investment fund investing in technology startups predominantly. We started like 2 years ago and managed to open in Europe. and we have invested to date in probably around 100 startups. We have 3 or 4 that are in the field of agriculture, and they're doing pretty well. One is building a ERP cloud-based system for vet practitioners. Another one is building a marketplace for livestock training, which is doing well. Another one is building an ERP system for beekeepers, also very well appreciated by the market. So what we've seen is that technology has a great place in agriculture, and this is a trend that is getting intensified in the last few years. So I wish you lots of good luck in that field. What we have discussed in the morning is that we do see a great collaboration between what we do and these financial instruments at FRACTALS, because we've seen in other companies where there is equity financing and grants, and they usually complement each other quite well. And it's usually this is the best formula, because if you have only grants, sometimes the results are not as good as they should be. So usually when you have equity provider in the company, it helps a lot growing the company. So if you have any questions, I'm around and I could answer them. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Stan, and thank you, Dani, and thanks for everybody for inviting us. My name is Stanisław Sirakov, and I'm part of OneShot, which is another early stage fund. Briefly on our end, we are a small fund, 9 million euro. We are typically the first or the second check into the company. We typically invest ourselves up to 200,000 euro, but we sometimes participate in bigger rounds. We do a lot of co-investments with other funds and other angels, so a typical round that we could go up is up to €500,000 euro. We've invested into quite a few companies so far, actually around 50, and what we have seen that especially some of them and those from this region that have really big focus on like global markets, were able to attract quite a few follow-on investments from seed or venture funds in Silicon Valley, in London and Berlin. What I could say, unfortunately, we haven't invested into an agricultural software type of project, though we have seen quite a few. But if we're talking about this vertical, we are quite positive, because this region as a whole has a good tradition in agriculture and also a good tradition in the software development for years. And if we could merge these two, and I think some magic could happen. I would second on everything that Dani already said, and just add one note on that. We have seen together with him that with a bit of a capital here in this entire region that we and Eleven and some other players have put, the spotlights are really focused on this. So probably 3, 4, 5 years ago there was still very good software industry, but there wasn't any capital. And there were quite a few articles that the region, Southeast Europe, is underfunded, underdeveloped in terms of startups. And now, just like a couple of years later, with the help of also a lot of the members of BESCOM who are also angel investing, some community players that are angel investing, us the funds, we were able to attract also follow-on funding from really reputable venture capital funds in Europe. The industry is in the spotlight, and I really wish that this could happen. This could happen with the such grants and the agricultural industry. And of course, being a venture capitalist, I'm a big fan of like capital investments. But I think what we lack is funding at work. charge. So whether it's a grant or like capital, it's like still giving a chance for the companies to grow and make it to the next level for bigger funds. So thanks a lot, and wish you good luck.
Thank you. I'm sure that we can get a lot and that we can collaborate in the future and get from your experience and also being successful together. Okay, so enough with the high-level talks. I will give the word now to Mladen. I pronounce it right?
Yeah, it's very easy. You give a lot of Bulgarian.
Bulgarian is Mladen, so
Mladen, it's okay.
close enough.
But it's written the same, right?
Yes.
Can you all hear me? I speak very loudly. Do I need a mic? Perfect.
Okay. I will use here.
Because of the camera.
Yes.
But then I have to sit down as well.
No, not really. You can take it out.
Okay, super. So I have two hands for two stuff. Super. Okay. I will manage somehow. Well, hello everybody, and it's very nice to be in Sofia again. I was here. I don't know. It's perfect. So I was here quite a few times before, and it's always nice to come back to lovely Bulgaria. Thank you very much, Bascom. Thank you very much, all the other Bulgarian hosts, for being with us here today. And for the first presentation of the day, I will give you a brief overview of FRACTALS project. We call it Innovative Ideas for the Farm of the Future. My name is Mladen Radišić, and I'm coming from the University of Novi Sad in the Republic of Serbia. I teach there financial management, but I have my background in engineering as well. So, and I'm teaching at the engineering faculty. So I understand quite a lot innovative concepts in the companies, and I support our colleagues and all the ecosystem of our companies around in Novi Sad and in the region when it comes to financing issues. So I know a bit about finance as well. But particularly in FRACTALS project, I'm representing one of the partners, which is called Vojvodina ICT Cluster. It is the largest and the most successful ICT business organization in Serbia, located in the city of Novi Sad, where we come from. And it is gathering very, very good ICT companies from our region. On top of that, I'm also in Enterprise Europe Network. Some of you might have heard about Enterprise Europe Network. And in FRACTALS, I'm acting as FRACTALS Dissemination Manager. So together with my dear colleague here, Grigorgis, who will give you the second presentation later on, we are traveling around and convincing lovely people like you are what are the benefits of FRACTALS and how you can benefit out of it. So, okay, very good. So, a brief overview of my presentation. I have only two parts. The first one is FRACTALS at a glance. I'll give you a basic information about our project and about the possibilities you can get from that. And later on, I will briefly mention information for applicants, but since Grigori's presentation is about how to write effective proposals for FRACTALS, I will mostly stick to the first part during my speech. If you have any questions, just feel free to interrupt me. Unfortunately, I understand Bulgarian, but my Bulgarian speaking capacities are a bit rusty, so I'll stick to English, okay?
It will be improved after the...
After, yes, of course. Great. So, FRACTALS. What is FRACTALS all about, and what do we do in FRACTALS, and how you can join FRACTALS? Well, first of all, as our dear colleagues loudly put, it's about connecting ICT and agriculture, right? Using this fiber technology, and we will speak later on, Javier will be mentioning fiber technology in his presentation. Why have we decided to merge those two industry branches, let's say? When you see this guy gives me a lot of confidence. I trust him because he puts food on my table every day. So it's the thing that we need in the everyday life. It's becoming more and more important issue, European-wide, global-wide, and that's why we said, especially in the wider Balkan region, we are very strong in agriculture, and let's utilize that, and let's connect it with ICT. And the product of this, our brainstorming we had almost 2 years ago, it's FRACTALS today. So why agriculture specifically? Well, first of all, as you can see on the very left part of this slide, a lot of people are employed in this particular sector, approximately 10% of total EU employment. So it's quite a number. So we have to consider it very carefully. On the other side, you can see here that we have a very low uptake of advanced ICT technologies in Europe when it comes to implementing ICT applications and ICT solutions for the benefits of agricultural industry. And that's why we said this is also a very important issue we have to take care about. As you can see, USA is quite ahead of us, and Europe is only between 0 and 24%, depending on the region you are considering, especially here in Balkans, with few very amazing exceptions. I would say even minus, not 0, but a bit of minus as well. And as you can see, in the Balkan region, agriculture plays a predominant role, so it's very important to utilize that and to be more in line with developed countries from the western part. And this is our competitive advantage, agriculture, and we should use it. So FRACTALS in numbers. FRACTALS is lasting for 2 years. We have started on the 1st of September 2014. We have 9 partners coming from 6 countries, mostly from Balkan countries, but also from western part of Europe as well. We have received almost 7 million euros from the European Commission, and we will provide via our granting system 5.52 million euros to innovative ICT companies to develop their agricultural solutions. We have only one open call that has started 10 days ago, and it is lasting until very end of February 2015. So with us, it's only one-time shot. You prepare it in the upcoming month, 1.5 months or 2 months. You submit it, and hopefully you will get, if your applications are very good, you will get the funding from us. As you can see, we will be delivering approximately 50 to 60 grants all around Europe. As we said, this is in terms of geographical coverage and our presence all around Europe, predominantly Balkan-oriented fiber accelerator, but it is very important to underline in this particular moment that this is not for Balkan countries only. So everybody who is eligible in Horizon 2020 all around Europe and even more, they can apply for us. Duration, of course, grants per one SME, per one application will be between 50 and 150k euros. And we will be granting sub-projects, we call them small sub-projects delivered by ICT companies, that will be lasting from 4 to 9 months, so you have approximately 4 to 9 months to deliver your solution. We have started, as I said, in September, and our open call dates, as you can see on the very low part of this slide, are end of November, end of February 2015. So what is our concept and how do we see ourselves? Well, first of all, we see ourselves as a bridge between, from on the left side, like ICT developers, software programmers, web entrepreneurs, and on the right side, farmers. Although they speak the same language, very often they don't speak the same language because they really don't understand each other. Because a farmer or agricultural company, they have a need, but they cannot transmit the message properly towards the ICT people, and the ICT people don't know what to develop for them. So it's very important, and you will see later on during my presentation that in our ecosystem community, we will be connecting ICT people and agricultural people, but a bit about that in a few slides. And then in the upper part of this slide, we are bridging FIPPP initiative, Future Internet Public-Private Partnership Initiative in Europe, that has started to be developed from 2010 on. And with this particular third phase, as we call it, this acceleration system, where we have 16 accelerators all around, fractals, and 15 more that are delivering money for ICT applications in different application domains. So who we are? A large group of very good institutions all around Europe. So first of all, we have our leading partner, which is called Development Fund of Vojvodina. It's one of the largest development funds in the Republic of Serbia. They have been delivering grants to innovative companies since many years ago, and they have a very solid experience when it comes to grant delivery. On the other hand, we have our fiber technical experts in our consortium, that is Atos. We have Atos here today from Spain. We have Wageningen from the Netherlands, and National and Kapodistrian University of Athens from Greece. And they will be supporting all ICT companies around Europe that have questions connected to fiber. They will guide them. They will tell them how to research about this specific, I would say, technology. Then later on, we have University of Novi Sad with its Biosense Center. It's one of the most developed research units in the Republic of Serbia. Grigoris is representing Biosense Center from our university. And mostly what they do is through open innovation and living lab approach. They are researching in the field of applying ICT for agriculture and many other domains. And you will see later on how we will use this infrastructure that we have when it comes to combining ICT and agriculture. And last but not the least, we have 4 ICT business organizations, Bascom here from Bulgaria, CETRE from Greece, YASA from Turkey, and Vojvodina ICT Cluster I'm presenting today here from Serbia. So as you can see from our consortium partnership structure, we have quite several, I would say, expertise domains that we will be covering during Fractals, and that will be at your disposal when it comes to all the questions that you might have while preparing your applications. So, it's obviously, we give money, it's very nice. Huh? It's always nice to receive money, but besides money, we are giving something else as well. First of all, we will be providing mentoring, networking, and clustering services to our winning companies, to our winning sub-project cases. So we will try to connect you, the winning projects, with other winning projects, with other agricultural people, so you can develop your solutions even more. You can benefit out of, let's say, networking activities in a proper sense. Later on, we will be giving training on fiber via our constant support facility help desk. So you will have the opportunity to learn more about fiber, not only about generic and specific enablers you are going to implement in your solution. Javier will be mentioning that a bit later when it comes to technical part of fiber. And last but not the least, we will be interacting you with, we call them lead users or end users, agricultural farmers, agricultural unions, agricultural companies, from the entire value chain you can imagine when it comes to this specific industry branch. And as I said previously, we have 3 partners from Spain, the Netherlands, and Greece, who have vast experience from the previous Future Internet public-private partnership calls from 2 previous cycles. They have vast experience in this innovative technology that is used and that is a must for all the applications, not only for Fractals, but for all the other 15 accelerators, fiber accelerators that exist in Europe. And as I mentioned before, we have our research unit center at our university, and they have the first living lab in Republic of Serbia that has been established, which is called Precision Agriculture for All. And via this living lab and open innovation concept, all 50 to 60 sub-projects, if they have specific needs, if they want to interact more with agricultural people, we will be providing them with an ecosystem of approximately 300 lead users, so they can get in touch with them, they can obtain feedbacks from them, and they can easily upgrade their solutions even more when it comes to particular agricultural domain. Last but not the least, we will be delivering so-called entrepreneurial support, mentoring services, and it's very good that we have our partners from Acceleration here from Bulgaria today here as well, because we will try to provide all the winning projects with I would say networking when it comes to venture capital funds and other possibilities how to progress even more and to obtain even more financing possibilities. And last but not the least, clustering activities in order to connect you both horizontally and vertically with other ICT companies, but with also other agricultural stakeholders. Few information for applicants that are very important and that every single ICT company should keep in mind when it comes to considering Fractals as its potential partner, because we want to develop a partnership relation with every single winning project. First of all, everybody's asking us who is eligible, and our response is everybody. Well, almost everybody. Everybody who is coming from either 28 member states of the European Union or associated countries, including Western Balkan region, so let's say FP7 or Horizon 2020 eligible countries. And everybody who is ICT company or a web entrepreneur, either SMEs, already established companies, startups are particularly welcomed in Fractals, and web entrepreneurs. It is very important to underline here that you can apply as an individual, but only if you are legally, somehow, according to your national law, registered as a legal entity. So I don't know how do you call it here in Bulgaria, but entrepreneurs, proprietor, however you call it, you have to have so-called tax number. You don't have to be in the VAT system, but you have to have registered tax number with state institutions that are registering companies. And this is very important part, and I will use a few moments here. What are eligible projects? Well, we have two main criteria when it comes to eligible projects. Number one is all applications must integrate a number of generic enablers as they are specified by Fiverr. So this is absolute must. You have to comply your own ICT solutions with existing generic enablers that exist in the Fiverr community that are mostly open cloud systems, but more details will come later on. And when it comes to specific sector applications, all the applications have to be related to agricultural sector, and in the upcoming 3 slides I will present you what do we consider as broad agricultural sector. And this is not the final list. This was just the result of our brainstorming. What do we think that might be within this eligible project category number 1, which is called enhancing productivity on the farm. So everything that is somehow connected with production or processing of food, of crops, of any agricultural product you can imagine. First of all, for example, weather forecasting solutions that reduce agricultural risks and improve yields in the production. Or solutions that somehow support quality control in the production phases. Or solutions that exploit wireless sensor networks that might be used for agricultural production, and wireless sensor networks are becoming more and more popular in this specific domain. Then, agricultural assets management solutions, or inventory and task planning solutions. So everything that support agricultural guys to produce better or to process their products or services better. Eligible projects category number 2 is everything that is connected with marketing and trading of food or of any agricultural product. So for example, traceability solutions in farming that are using RFID or any other technology. Solutions for the farmers to trace the final price of their products that end users, population is paying for it. Or solutions to end users, to citizens, to give back feedback to farmers, etc., etc. So everything that is supporting farmers to market or trade better. Of course, all these slides are already available at Fractal's website, so no need to take pictures or writing it down. Everything you can already find on the web. And last but not the least, eligible project categories number 3 is improving public service provision in the agricultural sector. So everything that is helping public sector people that are dealing somehow with agriculture. So solutions for provision of public digital services to farmers, or solutions for land management, planning, development, control. Solutions that support agricultural property valuation, etc., etc. So you can play, you can brainstorm a lot. This is not, as I mentioned, the final list. So we are very open to receiving, and on the daily level we are receiving questions. People are asking us, what do we think, if this is eligible or not for specific Fractals call, and we are more than happy to provide answers regarding that. Okay, this is very important slide, so I leave this, and because I speak about money now. Okay, so first of all, what is funded and what are we funding? This is European Commission project, and of course we have to respect and oblige to European Union's and European Commission's funding schemes. But I'll try to explain you now in a few words how we see it and how we developed our funding scheme to our ICT companies. So first of all, we are funding direct costs. And when it comes to ICT applications and ICT solutions, it is more than obvious that a very vast majority of direct cost is going to personnel, right? So for software developers, for their programming hours, etc., etc. So personnel costs are of course covered by Fractals funding, and other direct costs, and you will see the examples in the upcoming presentation from Grigoris later on. And on top of that, we are covering 60% of indirect cost flat rate. So we know that all of you have utilities to pay, renting, telephone, electricity in your everyday operations. But it's very complicated for us and for you as well to tell us on a monthly level or a reporting level how many electrical hours or water liters you have used specifically for Fractals. It's very complicated. We are strict, but we are not that strict. So we are saying, here you go, 60% of indirect costs are topping up your direct costs. And when it comes to 3 particular groups of activities that are funded, the first one is research and technological development. So creating new knowledge, new technology, new products, new services, including some scientific coordination if you're going to implement it in your solutions, etc., etc. And we are covering 75% of these amounts. But don't be worried, this 75% in 3 minutes are becoming more than 100%, and I'll explain you how. Dissemination activities can be funded as well. So let's take an example of 100,000 euros that you received from us for your sub-project. So you cannot have more than 10,000 euros for dissemination activities, for traveling all around Europe, for presenting your products in agricultural fairs or ICT fairs, exhibitions, etc. So it has to be up to 10%. And we are covering it in full amount. And then management activities cannot exceed 8%, which is in this particular case 8,000 euros. So for project management, for reporting, etc. So coming back to this 75, so let's take a very simple example. Imagine that you are paying your programmer 100 units on a monthly level. You top up these 100 units with 60%, which is 160 now, and then we are covering you 75% of that amount. So which is still more than 100 units that you originally planned for your software development. So that's why I said these 75 are becoming more than 100 in real life case. When it comes to duration of some projects, they can be between 4 and 9 months, and depending on the time frame of your project, it is very important for us to know that, and you will state that in your application, because it will have some consequences on financing or payment modalities. So we are offering 2 payment modalities in FRACTALS project. The first one is pre-finance. If you want to get up to 45% of pre-financing, so in our specific example, 45,000 euros from us, we will give it to you before you start with your project, but you have to bring us a bank guarantee. Because we cannot, all of us, we cannot risk that you will take 45,000 euros from us, you will take your skateboard and go to California or wherever you want to go, okay? So you have to bring us bank guarantee. If everything is performing good, if you are performing well, if you are delivering the solution you can promise, then at the very end of the project, when you submit the final report to us, we are giving you remaining 45,000 euros, and last 10% of financing you will get at the very end of FRACTALS project, when we submit our final report to the European Commission, and then they pay us the remaining amount. That's how the European Commission pays us. That's how we have to pay you as well. So that was pre-financing case. Let's switch now to reimbursement. In reimbursement, we have 2 sub-cases. The first one is, if your sub-project lasts up to 5 months, reimbursement is as follows. 90% you will get after those maximum 5 months, let's say, when you submit the final report, and then 10%, as in the previous case, you will get at the very end of FRACTALS project when we receive the money from the Commission. If your sub-project is lasting from 6 to 9 months, you have the following possibility. Let's imagine 8 months. 45%, so 45,000 euros in our specific case, we will give you after you submit us midterm report. After month number 4, you submit us midterm report, we give you 45,000 euros. And remaining 45,000 euros we are giving you after month number 8, when you submit us the final report. And as you can imagine, 10% are coming at the very end of FRACTALS project, which is 2 years and a bit more from September 2014 on. So what are the evaluation criteria for FRACTALS? And I will briefly mention all of them. Yes, please. I can speak for hours because I teach at the university, so yes, please interrupt me.
Can you give the final report at the 4th month?
You give us the final report at month number 4, and you
5th, 6th month?
and your project is lasting 8 months.
Maybe 4, maybe 5, don't know.
First of all, you will not be granted. If you can provide a solution in 4 months, and you stated in your application that you need 8 months, first of all, why do you do that? So if you can do it in 4 months, do it in 4 months. So it is very important, and you will see now in this slide, this quality of the implementation plan. And we have a big army of evaluators, more than 120 evaluators that will be evaluating all the upcoming applications. So you will see that all of them, they have to act very strictly, and they have to respect all these evaluation criteria. So generally, I never suggest that. Any other questions? In 5 more minutes. Yes, we can. experience and technical capacity of the applicant, that's very important to mention in your application. Then later on, the integration with fiber technologies, and that's why I put this in red color, because it is absolute must. Then number 3, technological excellence. You will be explaining a technological background and experience for all the team members you have in your project team. And then, as I said, number 4 is quality of the implementation plan. We have to see that very carefully, because financing is based on quality of the implementation plan. Then, number 5 is ability to provide significant value to end users. So if you already have a very good connection with agricultural people, if they are using your solutions already, if you provide in your application letter of intent from some agricultural stakeholders that will be using your developed application, it can only add value to your specific project. Then measures to engage end users in validation through open innovation. Open innovation is the concept where we constantly learn and want to engage all the stakeholders in our ecosystem. So that's why it is very important to utilize lead users and their presence in Fractals. And number 7, in my opinion, just after integration with fiber technology is amazingly important, is market potential. We want to fund the solutions that we have market utilization later on, that will have market presence. So that's why we have to know all the information about how do you see your application, your product, your service in the market, not only during the Fractals, but when the Fractals finish. So sustainability model is very important for us. Content of the proposal, I will just mention it because Grigoris is speaking in more details. We have 3 parts. Part A is applicant's profile, basic information about the company, about the project team. Part B is technical solution, up to 10 pages. There are already existing templates on our website. We call them application pack. You see it, you use it. It's very important to use it, prescribed templates. And part C is pitch, any multimedia item, 2 to 5 minutes, but Grigoris is speaking in more details. You can apply via our website, and our website is directing you towards this F6S community, where you will submit your specific application. And this is my final slide. Time schedule of open call. As you can see here, this timeline, very 2 important dates for us, end of November, end of February 2015. Later on in March and in the first half of April, our evaluation team is evaluating all the applications that we have received. And somewhere in late May or beginning of June, after we finish all the administrative procedures, signing the contracts, etc., you can start with your sub-projects. So from end of May or beginning of June, you can count on 4 to 9 months, upcoming 4 to 9 months, to deliver your solution. Thank you very much. You will be seeing this link very often today. Plenty of information are present there. Application package, all the presentations that can help you while preparing your application. And we have 2 support emails. The first one is about eligibility, budget, proposal writing, business part of your application, administrative at fractals-fp7.com, and about Fiverr, tech at fractals-fp7.com. So feel free to state your questions via these emails anytime you wish. Thank you very much for your attention. That was my part. I can take some questions now or later on.
I would put it now, maybe.
If you have some questions, I'll take them now. Yes.
Thank you.
When you say technical excellence of the applicant or some of the first criteria, do you mean of the company or of the people involved?
You actually be speaking about that, but it is very important to keep in mind the following thing. Only one legal body can apply. So only one company, there you cannot group with 3 or 4 ICT companies and apply. So we are expecting single applicant projects, but ICT company that, for example, has 3 people, and we are allowing up to 5 team members, they can engage external partners from other companies or freelancers, and they put them in their project team. So if the project is accepted, if it's granted, they will be working with your company, for example, for the upcoming 4 to 9 months. And then in the proposal itself, you explain the technical experience of these people who will you put in the project team. So it's also about the company itself, but all the people's like name and last name that will be embedded in your application.
Other question? Okay, yes, you will have the chance in the coffee break.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well,
Okay. I think you can hear me properly. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Javier Hurtado. I come from Atos, Spain. I've been working in Atos for the last 8 years, and I've been working as a software analyst and also as a developer. The truth is the first time I've been here, so it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. And this presentation, I will give you an introduction to Fiber program. Please do not hesitate to interrupt me in case you need to clarify something or you don't understand what I explain. So, the agenda for this session is as follows. First, we will introduce Fiber. Fiber is a very huge program, but I will try to introduce it quite briefly, in a nutshell. Also, some explanation about the generic enablers of Fiber and specific enablers will be given. And also, I would like to introduce a FireSpace project. FireSpace project can be considered as a specific enabler, and I am actually working on that project. So, in any doubt or whatever, do not also hesitate to ask. It will provide a kind of example of how to be used FireSpace. So, first of all, what's the idea behind Fiber? Nowadays, from the recent years, business in the world has changed a lot. The way business models and so on has been changed. For example, we can see here some examples like navigation. Years ago, we used to use maps. Now we use navigators. To call a taxi, we used to use our hands or just shouting. Now we use applications which are able to call a taxi for us, and also for social networks. In that case, I provide you in the case of recruitment. We used to take our CVs by hand to the companies, while now we use social networks like LinkedIn. So the idea of the Fiber program is to react to that, to react to that situation, and to provide some kind of software applications that can run on top of those internet facilities. The main idea of Fiber is to provide a platform, open standard platform, plus an ecosystem. As a platform, we can consider as a set of technological assets that are the generic enablers and the specific enablers, which will be complemented with your solutions
to provide a final product. Also, we introduced the concept of ecosystem. The ecosystem, I think, is the main goal of the project because it's the place where all the people who are using Fiverr can participate. For example, we obviously need developers to use for the success of the project. We need developers to use generic enablers. We need universities, we need startups, we need big companies and so on to provide information, to provide support and to work with the tools. So, plusing both concepts is the main idea of Fiverr, having an open standard platform plus an ecosystem. Okay, what's the idea behind this open standard platform? The main idea is to avoid vendor locking. I mean, there are other products such as the ones provided by Google or by Amazon, but they are quite restricted. I mean, you are located in the sense of the vendor. Using FileSpace, you can choose any provider you might want to provide your solution. For example, we are talking about companies like Telefónica in Spain, Atos, SAP, Telefónica Italia, and so on. So you can choose. If you are not happy with one, the service you are being given, you can move to another, and that's a main goal. So that's in the slide. We are the main capacity is the portability across platform providers. Also, our main goal is to have a large community of developers. This will improve competitive, and obviously, introducing competitive will be increase business. As we try to introduce a standard platform, we consider that's not enough. So we introduce also the concept of modularity. Modularity means to resolve interoperability issues. Obviously, one of the main goals that I find whenever we try to introduce new applications or services or whatever is the concept of interoperability. I mean, for example, if you try to play with a Lego game and then you try to use another product like Mass Lego, something like that, it's not possible to connect between all of them. So what we provide here is a set of applications or utilities that can easily work together. So just developing a simple connector, you will be able to use all the functionalities that Fiverr can provide you. Here we can have the different domains that Fiverr would like to achieve. For example, we can introduce big data, we can introduce sensors and any source of information that we would like to. A simple example of Fiverr could be data retrieved from sensors, example exposed by a city. I think cities like Valencia, Sevilla expose freely their data. So you can use that data, put it into a context-aware processing system, and you will be able to analyze it and to be able to use that data. So you can develop applications on top of that data. Okay, so what Fiverr is, those tools that I've been talking about are the so-called generic enablers. They are pieces of software which try to cover specific areas of common areas of software development. Generic enablers are reusable, and as I said, they are specific for different usage areas. Also, it is introduced the concept of a specific enabler. A specific enabler has been developed by the different projects participating in the Fiverr program, and they are specific to a domain of application. For example, if we have RFIDs in our factory, there's a specific enabler that will retrieve the data from the RFIDs and put it into the system. That's a specific enabler. Just a summary of the Fiverr generic enablers. Fiverr generic enablers is a set of general purpose platform functions available through APIs. and combining with, we have a fiber reference architecture. All the specifications of the generic enablers are open, and right now they are open source. During the duration of the program, the fiber generic enablers are open source, so we are open to use it. You can use it in different manners. You can use, not sure if you know the fiber lab. It's a place where you can instantiate the generic enablers. You can also download code of the generic enablers and locate the generic enablers in your factories. It's up to you. I mean, if you do not need to share data, you can have the data in your own premises, or you can use the data centers available in fiber. This is the way fiber structures the different generic enablers available. This is there are different chapters. We have the cloud hosting. Cloud hosting offers a solution for cloud hosting based on OpenStack. Also, they have the data context management. In this chapter, you will find generic enablers related with management of the data and the context. For example, you can find a complex server processor generic enabler. I think I have one from IBM, which is the data where IBM processing, just defining some patterns or some rules, you will be able to detect some events or whatever you would like to. Also, there is an IoT to connect with IoT resources, sensors, and whatever. Data service delivery, I think this is meant for applications. You can find here marketplace. You can find here a wire cloud, which is a container. Also, there's a chapter which is the web UI, which provides some capabilities to develop on web applications. You can introduce advanced 3D and augmented reality features. It's important security. Here there are covered functionalities like identity management or security monitoring. And the last chapter is interface to networks. Now it's been introduced some interface to robots and so on. Okay, so here we can introduce another concept, which is the domain-specific platform. A domain-specific platform can be considered the generic enablers of fiber, a set of generic enablers, and specific enablers. These domain-specific platforms has been mainly delivered during the second phase of the fiber project. For example, there's a project called Fitban, and develop different platforms depending on the scope of applications. They have virtual, digital, and different domain applications. Depending on the necessities of the factories, they select a set of generic enablers, also introducing some specific enablers they will enable specific domains. Here we find an example for do it for any domain you would like to. Okay, so what another concept is the fiber instance. Fiber instance is a set of generic enablers, and on top of it you will introduce your application. So from the fiber catalog you will be able to select the generic enablers you are interested to use, assemble them, and then running on top of it you will be able to introduce your application. In the fiber catalog, there is a lot of information related with the available generic enablers and so on. So you are free to join the web from the new innovations in IT and from the internet. Also, baseline of the project is to build an ecosystem to capture the different opportunities. How are they planning to do this? First of all, introducing the generic enablers from fiber. Obviously, to make this community, this ecosystem, it's important to have a place where the community can meet. That's the idea of Fiber Lab. Right now, we are talking about the fiber acceleration programs where the community of developers will increase. That's another very important issue for fiber program. The last one is firmware ops. It's an upgrading of the firmware lab with more functionalities and the capabilities. I think the capability of this part is that you will be able to instantiate your application wherever you would like to in Europe. You can deploy it in the node of Sevilla, you can deploy it in Finland, wherever you would like to, depending on your necessities and your requirements. So now I would like to introduce a FireSpace project. FireSpace can be considered, although it's a very huge project, can be considered as a specific enabler of fireware. The idea of FireSpace is to provide a B2B collaboration platform. What the platform is going to provide is a tool to conduct the business flow of an application. For that, we use generic enablers, and what we will provide is a support for business collaboration between companies. The main sectors in which FireSpace is working is global transport, logistics, and agriculture. So just a summary of the main ideas of FireSpace, or what we would like to cover in the project. The first one is to facilitate organizational collaboration. I mean, we need information exchange, communication, and coordination activities. To provide transparency, visibility, and control process using different sensors and connectors. Also, we would like to introduce an easy way to create APPs, applications to run on top of this platform, and use social networks and different applications and service markets. This is a high-level explanation of the FireSpace platform and the different components that are working in this architecture. As you can see, we have different modules. We have the first one, which would be considered the gateway to the platform, which is the system and data integration. And running on top of it, we have the real-time B2B collaboration platform. That module is composed of two different modules, which is a BCM and an EPM. The BCM is the business collaboration module, and the EPM is a payment processing module, which is actually a generic enabler from FireWare. Also, we have a FireSpace store, where applications will be located. Also, is composed by a generic enabler from FireWare. And we have the front end. We also provide the development tool. Those tools are available to be used. Among this platform architecture, we will use different generic enablers from the FireWare project. Also, you can see a list of projects participating in this project. Here you can see a list of the generic enablers that we are using right now. Main ones would be the event processing from IBM. That's a generic enabler from the data chapter. Using some patterns, we are able to detect different events or whatever you would like to, situations you would like to detect. Also, we are using the application as a widget container. Widgets are small applications that run on top of a backend that the provider of the widget will use. Also, we introducing some security issues and other generic enablers. So, as I said before, the overall goal of FireSpace is to interact with different sectors like farming, transport, retail, and service. In the first one, the farming, is where FRACTALS can be directly involved. Here we have an example of the different applications that are running on top of FireSpace. You can can see, for example, the productive information services, which is provided by Atos. In case you have any doubt related with that application, do not hesitate to contact us. Also, other applications on the domain, which maybe are the ones that are more interested for you, which could be, for example, the weather scenario application, workability data, and so on. Okay, this is an example of how it should be or how it should be at the end the way FileSpace will work. A developer creates its application or service, upload this serving application to the FileSpace storage. Oh, sorry. Yeah, uploads the application to the application store and combining with other services or applications in the BCM analyzer, we will have our collaboration system working. Okay, yes, I think that nearly to finish, this is an example of the different capabilities that we can provide. For example, FileSpace can provide an application where you will be able to find the weather information of a place or whatever you are interested in. So that service or application is running on the platform. At that sense, we can introduce other types of application. For example, we would like to introduce an application that is able to detect when is the correct time to do spraying on a farm or whatever. So, but they do not have the information related with the weather. So mixing both informations, we will have a final product. So the combination of the weather information and the spraying certification, we will have our. I can't explain it properly. Well, how do I say it? Okay. The idea is to provide the final product covering the gaps that I might find with other services available in the platform. Okay, well, here we can see an example of a farmer, but we do not have to limit ourselves to this, because we can consider farmers, but for example, if we have a ball field or whatever around it, maybe it's also interested in this information. So we have to be clear that the business is quite open and not limited. Yeah, and well, that's all from me. If you have any question or doubt.
Later on you will have the opportunity, so let's have a coffee break, and at 11 we continue.